Planetary aspects are one of the important tool for predictive ability. Today we are going to talk about the planetary aspects in Vedic astrology. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani. Help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic astrology. Today we are going to talk about the planetary aspect. What is planetary aspect? Aspect literally means to look at it. When we talk about planetary aspects in Vedic astrology context, it simply means the planet is looking at the other planet or the other house. When we say Sun is aspecting Jupiter, we simply mean that Sun is looking at the Jupiter. So what it means is Sun has some signification, it has some lordships, and now it is looking at the Jupiter, which also has some lordship and also has some natural signification. So now this gives you a hint of what's going on in that chart. Okay, let's look at the aspects of the planets. What are the planets and what aspects do they have? Okay, let's start with the Sun. Sun can see 7th house from itself. Moon can see 7th house from itself. Mercury can see 7th house from itself. Venus can see 7th house from itself. Okay, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Rahu Ketu. Yes, Rahu Ketu as well have the special aspects. We will talk about them later in this video. Let's take an example of Sun. Sun is in the 1st house of your horoscope and it will aspect the 7th house from itself. That is the 7th house of your horoscope. If it is in the 12th house of your horoscope, it will aspect the 6th house, which is the 7th from the 12th. If it is in the 9th house of your horoscope, it will aspect the 3rd house of your horoscope. Okay, and same applies to the Moon. Moon also aspect the 7th house from itself. Wherever a Moon is placed, it will aspect the 7th house. So Sun, Moon, Mercury and Venus have only 7th aspect. Okay, and what do they do with the aspect? As in, what happens when a planet aspects the other planet? When a planet aspects the other planet, it shares some of its signification to the other. Okay, so when Sun aspect the 7th from itself in your horoscope, it gives light to that house. You can shine there. Why? Because it's Sun, the brightest star in the solar system. It's the center of the solar system. So wherever you have the aspect of Sun, you will have a light in that house. Okay, so you will shine there. So you will have a pride in that house signification. What do I mean by that? If it is aspecting your 10th house from the 4th house, so you will have a pride in whatever you are doing in your career, in your karma. Okay, let's move on to the Moon. Moon can aspect 7th from itself, and when we have the aspect of Moon, it is very nurturing and motherly aspect. If you have the aspect of Moon, you will have an emotional connect with that house. If you have Moon in the 11th house, so it will be 7th aspect will be on the 5th house. So you will have an emotional connect with your children. Okay, like that it works for all the houses. The aspect of Mercury, what it does when Mercury aspects with the 7th house, with the 7th aspect, not the 7th house. So the Mercury's aspect shows the area of life where we like to engage ourselves, where we like to gather the information, where we like to organize ourselves, wherever we like to share the ideas. Okay, suppose you have the Mercury in the third house, so it is aspecting the ninth house. So you will always talk about the religion, philosophy, the ideologies. Okay, this is how it works. And let's talk about the aspect of Venus. When Venus aspect, it gives you the comfort. It is Venus, so it gives you the comfort and the luxury of that house. You are lucky about that house. That's what I have observed. Okay, so these are the normal aspects we are talking about. And Mars, Jupiter and Saturn have a special aspects. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about the aspect of Mars first. Mars have a special aspects. It can aspect from itself in the 4th house, 7th house from itself and the 8th house from itself. Okay, when you have Mars placed in certain houses, it aspects 4th house from itself, 7th house from itself and 8th house from itself. Jupiter aspects 5th, 7th and 9th from itself. What is Jupiter? Jupiter is all about the knowledge. So wherever you have an aspect of Jupiter, it will give knowledge and information and a blessing about that house. You will be blessed about the signification of those houses. Or if you have a tough planetary condition or alignment in these houses, the aspect of Jupiter can really help you improve the planetary alignments. Okay, let's talk about the aspect of Saturn. Saturn has 3 aspects: the third house aspect, the 7th aspect, as all other planets, and the 10th aspect. Okay, let's talk about the planetary aspects of Saturn. Let's talk about the third aspect. Wherever you have a third aspect of Saturn, you have to take an effort for that house. Okay, suppose you have Saturn in the 5th house, so it is aspecting the 7th house. So you have to take effort for your marriage, not only in the process of the marriage, but as a responsibility. You always have to take an conscious effort towards your partner. Okay, the 7th aspect, as usual, is for the Saturn. It puts the responsibility. Wherever you have an aspect of Saturn, it makes you aware of that house. It makes you conscious of that house and the responsibility attached to it. Like you have a Saturn's aspect on the 10th house. So what it does is, or if you have a Saturn's aspect on the 4th house of your horoscope, so it gives a responsibility towards your mother. So you have to take care of her health. So you have to take care of her, and things will happen that you have to take care of her. Okay, let's talk about the 10th aspect of the Saturn. When the Saturn aspects with its 10th house aspect, what is 10th house? 10th house is all about your karma. Wherever you have the Saturn's 10th aspect, you have to take radical action. You have to work. You have to take, it's not a third house effort. This is the actual karma. This is the actual efforts, not efforts. This is the karma you do. The 10th house is a radical action based on the 9th house. That is the beliefs and higher beliefs you have. You take an action. Okay, so Saturn has third house aspect and the 10th house aspect. Both gives the responsibility, conscious efforts and hard work and a responsibility. Okay, what is the other type of these are the special aspects of the planets, the Mars, Saturn and Jupiter. These are the special aspects, and also Rahu and Ketu. We'll talk about it. Let's talk about the aspect of Rahu. What is Rahu? Rahu is all about the expansion. Rahu is that planet which has only head. He can eat but can't digest. He wants it all. So when you have an Rahu's aspect on any other houses, you have to thrive for those things. So if you have a Rahu in the 6th house and it is aspecting the 10th house, you will be a career minded person. You want it all. You want all those things, or you want all those promotions, you want that the designation, and you will be so focused to get that all. And even if you get it something, and even if you get something, you want something else beyond that. You're not satisfied because it's Rahu, it's not Jupiter. Rahu and Ketu also have the aspects 5th and 9th aspect. Okay, let's talk about the Ketu. Ketu aspects are about the detachment. Ketu are the things we have already achieved in the last birth. These are the things we have already achieved, so we are not interested in those things. We are interested in the Rahu things. Wherever Rahu is placed, wherever Rahu is aspecting, we are very much obsessed about those things. And wherever Ketu is placed and it is aspecting, we are kind of not interested in those things, because subconsciously and genetically we have already been through that experience in our previous lives. So we are not interested in those areas in this lifetime. Okay, so wherever Ketu is aspecting, you will feel very detached and separated from that house signification. Suppose you have Rahu in the 1st house and Ketu in the 7th house, so you are not much into the marriage. You feel detached from the partner. You feel detached from the marriage itself. You don't want to get married. Okay, these are the effect of aspect of Ketu. Okay, these are the aspects of the these are the special aspects. Okay, first were the normal aspects, the 7th house aspect. Every planet has the 7th house aspect. Then Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu have a special aspects. Okay, then there is a thing called as a mutual aspect. Mutual aspect is when you have planet in the 1st house and 7th house from itself also has a planet. Okay, let's take an example. You have Sun in the sign of Aries and you have Mars in the sign of Libra. So Mars is also aspecting the Sun and Sun is also aspecting the Mars. This is a mutual aspect. Okay, there is another example of a Parivartana Yoga. Parivartana Yoga simply means a direct aspect on each other with the sign exchange. What do I mean by that? Saturn in the sign of Leo and Sun in the sign of Aquarius. They are aspecting each other in a Parivartana Yoga. Okay, this is a short explanation. We are going to make a detailed video on all these aspects, each house specifically, each planet specifically. Okay, this is an introduction video. Okay, so I'm just going through all those aspects and planets very quickly. There is another aspect called Sandhi aspect. Sandhi aspect is nothing but the planets are in different signs, yet when we consider the degrees, they aspect each other. Okay, let's take an example of it. Suppose we have a Saturn in a last degree of certain Rashi and we have Venus in a certain Rashi which are not 7th from each other, 3rd from Saturn, 10th from Saturn, yet they are placed in such a way that with the degrees they can aspect each other. This is a bit advanced. Okay, another misconception about the aspect is the 10% aspect, 20% aspect. I have not seen that in my studies. I like to use the degrees to fine tune the aspects, but I don't like to see the aspect percent wise. I don't understand that how it works, and I have not seen that working in my studies. It only complicates the things, in my humble opinion. Okay, so we are not going to consider the percentage of aspects. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. Another thing is, yes, Rahu and Ketu aspects. In Parashara Hora Shastra, there is nothing written about it, but in my personal experience, I have found that these aspects, and even in my own horoscope, when I try to make sense of my horoscope, the aspect of Rahu and Ketu are very important, and they do aspect. Yes, this was an introduction video on aspect. These are the aspects as much as I could hold, grasp and share with you guys. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Share this video with your family and friends. If you're enjoying my work, please hit that like button, and sending you high vibrations, love and peace.